Hi everyone, Al DeMarco along with Steve Boonin, Monday night, and we are with you once more to break it down from a gambling perspective. Another good game on tap, Arizona and San Francisco. Of course, last Monday night, similar point spread, 3.5. We backed the Packers against Baltimore and picked up some cash. Another 3.5 point line tonight with Arizona, this time the road favorite at San Francisco. Big revenge game, though, for the Cardinals here because in the first meeting this season at home, they were laying about 5.5 points, but San Francisco pulled off the road win.
Huge upset.
Yeah, absolutely. But Arizona certainly played much better ball since opening up the season with some uncertainty. Interesting game, though, here tonight from a point spread perspective.
You know, like you said, they're looking for revenge from week one, but the 49ers are playing very desperate ball right now, and they're going to come in here and they're going to give it their all. Cardinals got their swagger back with a big win over the Vikings last week, and it looks like they're going back to the playoffs again and are ready to make a serious run. San Fran, well, say what you want about them, but don't you bet against them because ever since Singletary took over this team, they've covered over 70% of their games, leaving all bettors who faded them busted out and broke. Their defense always seems to keep the games close, but make no mistake about it, they're going to have their hands full here with Warner and company. Al, I'm going to stay away from the side here, I think, but, you know, this is a really tough one to call.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you're right about Arizona. You know, last Sunday, I considered using Arizona against Minnesota, but it was one of those games you just didn't know until the last moment. Was Kurt going to play?
Right.
Was he not going to play?
Which Arizona team's going to show up?
Exactly, and they were a different Arizona team when Kurt Warner is in the lineup. Bottom line, on the road this year, when Kurt Warner is healthy, they're 4-0 straight up and against the spread. In the game against St. Louis, they were up big at St. Louis. When he left, they failed to get the win they got the win, but they didn't get the cover, winning 21-13, but failing to get the cover by a half point to a point. Then, when he did not play at all against Tennessee, they lost that game in the last minute to Vince Young and company, 20-17.
Actually played a lot better than I thought they'd play.
Very true. Although the defense did not play well in that game. Tennessee just ran up and down the field against them all day long. Still, you know, this is an Arizona team that's 5-1 straight up, 6-3 ATS overall on the road this year, but here's the thing that you have to consider. You know, San Francisco's had Arizona's number in this series. They have covered 3 of the last 4 in this series. But then, you know, how many times have I told you guys, you know, if you find me 6 trends on this side of the ledger that'll support this team, I'll find you 7 on this side. Well, here's the granddaddy of all the trends. The road team has covered 10 straight in this series. And as I told you earlier, San Francisco not only covered, they won the first game outright as a road dog this year, right? 20-16 as a 5.5 point road dog. So the road team has covered 10 straight in this series. But then you'd say, before maybe getting the cash out on Arizona, consider this. You know, the 49ers, you had pointed out, they have played great ball under Mike Singletary, especially as an underdog, 8-1-1 against the spread, getting points, 5-0-1 against the spread, coming off a straight-up loss as a favorite, which they were last week at Seattle, a 1-point chalk. I know I had the Seahawks as a 15-dime play. You knew I was going to get that little promotion in there someplace, right?
Absolutely.
And
wish I could bet on that.
And they're also 6-2-1 against the spread their last 9 at home. And the one thing about San Francisco this year, they always seem to be right around the number, right in close games, whether they play well or not. They always seem to play close.
That's that tough D.
3 of their losses by 3 points, 6 of their losses this year by 7 points or less. So when you look at that type of margin, 3.5, 4 points. I mean, you know, you could be looking at a very close game, which, as you said, makes it difficult to call.
Too tough for me. But the last couple of Monday nights, I have my hottest crews coming in. I'm going to wait till they come in. I'm going to lay their play, not mine. But I can tell you that, you know, this is a game that it worries me. San Francisco can't score. Like, I've watched them all year. They really have a problem scoring the ball. I don't see this game going over. I see an under game here because San Fran simply can't move the ball.
Well, you've got a total sitting right around 44.5 points. And, you know, the interesting thing with San Francisco is their offense has gone through a complete metamorphosis with the insertion of Alex Smith in at quarterback. They have suddenly adapted, and you just don't see an NFL team completely switch their offensive scheme midway through the season. But first Alex Smith comes in at quarterback, then Michael Crabtree, who already has 32 catches, despite missing all preseason and the first half of the season. Every wide receiver is going to want to do this now. It's going to be the new in vogue thing to do. And then they go to this spread attack. And a team that started off the year as a running team with Frank Gore, Well, they don't run the ball anymore, guys. I mean, I pointed that out last week when I went against them at Seattle. They do not run the ball that much any longer. Frank Gore is almost like an afterthought. But they continually, as you pointed out, get bogged down in the red zone, or bad things happen. Smith gets picked off. Somebody fumbles. So you're right. They move the ball up and down between the 20s. They get into the red zone. They choke. They just can't get the points on.
I give them an A for effort, but an F for execution.
You know, and this is the reason why, despite all these big statistics that Smith has put up on the board of late, this is still a San Francisco team that simply doesn't score a lot of points. But, you know, defensively, both of these teams are about even. They both give up maybe about 19 and a half points a game. I think it's interesting that Arizona has stayed under the total in 3 straight games. San Francisco has stayed under the total in 3 of their last 4. And how about the Monday night on the year? We started off this year where every single game was going over. Right? Not any longer. The last 5 Monday night games, all under, guys. And I mean, there have been some ones right there on the bubble, but they have stayed under the total. So we've seen a complete reversal of trends. I think I'd have to agree with you. At 44.5 points, I think the under is the way to go. I think the under last week with Baltimore Green Bay, what a sweat that was. But as a free pick, I'm with you. I think the under is the way.
It's not a very fun bet to make, the under, but I think in this case, effective.
Yeah, exactly, especially when you consider, as Steve said, this San Francisco team has had problems scoring. And listen, you also have to consider the letdown factor. Arizona's coming off a huge revenge win at home against Minnesota. Look ahead, let down, even though this is a revenge game here for them against the 49ers in a big divisional game. I'm sorry, you just beat Brett Favre and the Vikings at home. You got to have a little letdown, which may cause them not to put so many points on the board or come out and play perhaps as sharp offensively in the first half of this game. So again, we like the under in this contest. And by the way, I know where you and I are going to be watching this game tonight at the Golden Nugget here in Las Vegas. And before we go, guys, remember, no purchase is necessary. You've got to check out the free High Rollers Getaway that we are in conjunction with the Golden Nugget Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, giving away once every 30 days to one lucky winner on our site. What are they going to get? Well, I mean, it's a tremendous package.
Yeah, you just go to our site, you top right corner, you fill out the form, and one lucky winner every 30 days gets a High Roller suite on us, VIP transfer in a limo back and forth from the airport, VIP check-in, VIP seats to Gordy Brown. Doesn't do an impersonation of me, but he's damn good, and you're going to love him. And I think that you'll find that the Golden Nugget, it's vintage, it's old, it's new, it's got the brand new Rush Tower, just as good as the Strip. Really has everything going there. I love it. It's my favorite place.
And what a place it was last Monday night when it's seemingly Packers. It was a dull game. It was 17-0. We all thought with our money on the Packers, we had it in hand. Boom, interception, touchdown. Boom, interception, touchdown. Suddenly, 17-14 game, 3.5-point spread, and everybody's going, what the hell happened?
And we were screaming in that sports book. They thought there was a crap game going on in the middle of the sports book. We were so loud. The guys at the crap table, which is right next door, were getting jealous, and that rarely happens.
So, guys, listen, no purchase necessary. Check it out on our home site, our homepage there in the upper right-hand corner. Enter. It's for free. And as we said, one lucky winner every 30 days. And you can be hanging out with us here on a Monday night in Vegas at the Golden Nugget. We will catch you again next week. And remember, we like the under here tonight for Arizona and San Francisco with the spread right around for the total of 44.5 points. Steve and I once more will be joining you next Sunday and Monday for more NFL action.